What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Pet Shop Boys, and we're returning to the regular chronology of this deep dive, which is to say the handful of remaining bonus tunes in the expanded folder for their 1993 album Very. Thank you as always to Seb. And the next track, I think, was the B-side for Yesterday When I Was Mad, and that is If Love Were All, or Was All, conjugated less colloquially or indeed regionally. But yeah, it sounds like half of a conditional statement, half of an if-then statement, and thus a speculation, a hypothesis. And of course, the second half of the conditional is not specified and could be very different. But if I were to hypothesize, I would say it could refer to the practical concerns, the complexities of life, and saying, well, if love were all we had to think about or worry about or focus on, then some of the difficulties, some of the struggles, some of the impasses that we face in our personal lives, in our emotional lives, maybe even on a societal or species level, would be surmountable or avoidable or perhaps non-existent at all. But obviously the second half of the conditional, which I hope we do get in the song, could be very different, and thus the song could be running in a different thematic direction entirely. I'll see what I can catch on the first listen. This is Pet Shop Boys. The track is If Love Were All, which, as I said, I think is the B-side to Yesterday When I Was Mad, and it's included in an expanded folder for their 1993 album Very.
I believe in doing what I can, in crying when I must, in laughing when I choose. Hey ho, if love were all, I should be lonely. I believe the more you love a man, the more you give your trust, the more you're bound to lose. Although when shadows fall, I think if only somebody splendid really needed me, someone affectionate and dear. Cares would be ended if I knew that he wanted to have me near. But I believe that since my life began, the most I've had is just a talent to use. Hey ho, if love were all, hey ho, if love were all.
Wow. Before that started, I did not think I'd hear the Pet Shop Boys doing what sounds like a throwback jazz ballad in, mid 20th century style I do think they pull it off, and I enjoy Neil's vocals, which very much have that, singer in a spotlight on a stage pouring out his heart type of feel. And yeah, it sounds like he's making the case that if love were all, then he would be lonely because what was the line about, like, since his life began, all he's had is a talent to lose? Was that it? But yeah, it sounds like he's saying with love and with greater trust, the probability, the percentage chance of you feeling loss and being hurt and heartbroken, it just increases. And seemingly in his case, he's saying that's been the case more often than not. But when shadows fall on someone else, when there's an admirable and beautiful person that that is in his life, he can't help but maybe go for it. So it sounds like an articulation of the human condition, that with heavier emotions comes greater possibility for hurt, but that it's part of our emotional character, or the emotional beings we are, to still reach out, to still try to make something happen, to still try to forge a connection, even if you're aware in a logical sense that it could come back to hurt you. And it sounds like for him it has more often than not, but it sounds like he's processing this dynamic and this condition, that him being an emotional being is something that will likely lead to hurt, but that he's not going to shy away from it. And there are people out there that are maybe worth that effort and that risk, and that when, even if in his life he's felt loss more than otherwise, there may be someone that will come into his life that will warrant this cycle to play out over again. So yeah, it sounds like one of those old-timey jazz tunes, some of which I've been going through on the Sinead O'Connor album, Am I Not Your Girl, where it's like, it's just an articulation of the human condition and the emotional beings we are, and all the perils that come with that, but also, at least maybe in a minority percentage, the joy and the enrichment that you can feel with another person who's worth that risk or that gamble. So yeah, a beautiful tune. I enjoy the brass sonics, and the piano, just light and playful, and perhaps also with an emotional weight. And definitely there was a flourish in the latter stages. It got louder instrumentally and vocally, and I enjoy the flare up at the end sonically. So yeah, an unexpected tune, not terribly, like the idea that Pet Shop Boys would do things more than just the synth pop / synth dance stylings that I knew of them going into this deep dive has already become very evident. But yeah, as I said, I was not expecting a jazz ballad when this tune started, so that was a cool surprise. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.